Alright everybody, Jason here with you guys once again. Going to be 10-minute segments for these videos for reasons I won't get into right now, but time being that it is short and sweet, let's get going here. What I've got here is a setup for the Advanced Platoon Leader game system. The map will always look like this, consisting of 12 cards. I've got it turned slightly for you guys, 90-degree angle. This is actually the top, so we're moving this way. The Americans will always move from the bottom, if you will, to the top. First row, second row, third row, fourth row, first column, second column, third column, or if you will, left, center, and right column. Information cards, stat cards, keep track of your platoon, strengths, spotted, unspotted, status, platoon action point pools, leader wounds, turn weather track, phase track. I also have a victory point track, which will not be required for purposes of these demonstrations, but you will also have one of those as needed. And as I have these in cards, know that you can use a dry erase pen to keep track of your information, or a six-sided die, which I'll get into in a second. So that brings us to the first thing you would need to do. And the first thing you will need to do when you start a scenario, which gives you all the information you need. This demonstration is not based on any particular scenario, but we're going to pretend like it is. The first thing you would do is roll to determine how long this puppy is going to be. We rolled a 2, therefore we would start at the very beginning. If we had rolled a 3 or 4, we'd scoot down 1, 5 or 6, scoot down yet another square. And moves, each turn moves left to right until you go down a row and then right to left. When you reach the end, you roll 2 dice. If you get doubles, you get a bonus turn. If not, that's it. And once you do, if you do get a bonus turn, it's the only bonus turn you'll get. So, kind of keeps you on your toes as to if and when this thing will end. So, other than that, you've got, again, for purposes of this demonstration, we will have a 1 American platoon. You can have as many as 3 platoons or a full company for each side that are combating each other. But again, for purposes of this demonstration, we'll just have 1 American platoon and 1 German platoon. So what do we need to do with these guys? We need to roll for their action points. For it is action points that, you guessed it, allow you to perform actions. The leader here will always have 2 action points each turn. Does not need to roll for them. However, the squads do, and to do that, you look at the morale of the squad. Morale 7 means you need a 1, 2, or 3 to roll an action point. Each squad is allowed up to 2 action points, so that's 2 dice for each squad. Each squad has the same morale. We can just roll 6 dice. Again, looking for a 1, a 2, or a 3, and we get 4 action points. As such, we will mark 4 action points on the first platoon unit card, and then we will mark the strength of each squad on the card. And again, you can do this with a dry erase marker or dice, or any other inventive, creative, imaginative way you feel comfortable doing, like that. No on-map German units because we don't know where they are yet. There will be scenarios in which we have Germans that do start, as well as Americans, start on-map at the game when the game begins. Typically that's not the case, and in fact in the original Platoon Leader game system that was never the case. Why is that now sometimes the case? Because there are scenarios in which, due to historical circumstances, I needed Germans to be in a specific place, say for instance a town, etc. Can't have them just wandering wherever, popping up wherever. Needed at least a platoon to start in a specific area, so that was amended accordingly. So the Americans will typically enter again from the bottom of the map or the first row and move up. And to do that, there is a default movement phase in effect since there are no on-map enemy units, and that allows us to expend movement points. Now, I'm going to use first squad and bring him on. He's going to spend 1, 2 movement points. Once that action has been expended, I will deduct from the platoon action point pool, which was a 4, now becomes a 3. 2 movement points equaling 1 action. Furthermore, since he is the first unit to enter the new row, we need to conduct a chit draw for the next immediate row. To do that, the scenario will tell you how many chits you need to place in the cup and etc. But for purposes of this demonstration, we only need 8 gray chits and 1 red chit. Why? Because 8 of these cards will have nothing, and 1 of them will have a German platoon somewhere on it. There's your chits. That's what I've been using. I include chits that you can mount, or again, you can use anything. You don't have to mount the chits that I include in the game. You can use whatever you like. You're going to draw a chit. Gray, nothing. You get a gray chit, nothing. Another gray chit, nothing. That's fine. No German units to worry about as of yet. Keep those 3 gray ones out, actually, because when we move into the next row, we'll be drawing for the next row. So let's complete movement. He's going to go ahead and finish expending 4 total movement points equaling 2 actions. That brings it down from 3 to a 2, because it was originally a 4, but since he spent 2 action points, now it becomes a 2. The leader is going to come aboard. The action point pool will not be affected by him, since he is afforded 2 action points inherent, if you want to call them, of his own. Move him up there as well, and returning them again. If you consider yourself looking this way, you turn them upside down, or I guess you could put it like this to represent upside down or spent status. No more actions can be performed by those units. That still leaves 2 action points. Let's pull 3rd squad up. That becomes a 1. And 2nd squad up. And that's the end of the action points available. Important to consider. Let's see how much time we have here. It is important to consider command range. You need to be within a certain command distance. That would be 2 squares of your leader to be within command range. If not, there's going to be certain things that you can't do, such as rally, but there will also be things that you would like to do but can't, perhaps, because you'll need to take a morale check to do it. So, if you're out of command range, say, thusly, if you wanted to move or fire, you'd have to take a morale check to do so. Everybody's in command range here. Doesn't really matter where these guys are, but for purposes of demonstration, again, if it was set up like that, he would be out of command because he's greater than 2 squares away from the leader. In fact, he's greater than 2 squares away from anybody. But if we had a squad here, a chain could be then traced back to the leader, thus he would be in command. I think I'm going to end that here. When we come back, we'll move. That would be the end of the turn. When we come back, we'll need to roll for more action points. As we move, we'll conduct a new chit draw for the next row, and we'll go from there.